She wondered whether this world would ever discover that she existed. That she was little Ellie West, the wayward girl, somehow alive after all these years, and what would happen to her when that happened. Still, for the time being, her back was strong and her eyes were as clear as they had been on the day when, as a girl of 7, she had seen the opening between the roots of a tree on her father's estate. If her hair was white now, and her skin was soft with wrinkles and memories, well, that was no matter at all. There was still something unfinished around her eyes. She wasn't done yet. She was a story, not an epilogue. And if she chose to narrate her own life one word at a time as she descended the stairs to meet her newest arrival, that wasn't hurting anyone. Narration was a hard habit to break, after all. Sometimes it was all a body had. Nancy stood frozen in the center of the foyer, her hand locked on the handle of her suitcase as she looked around, trying to find her bearings. She wasn't sure what she'd been expecting from the special school her parents were sending her to, but it certainly hadn't been this elegant country home. The walls were papered in an old-fashioned floral print of roses and twining clematis vines, and the furnishings, such as they were in this intentionally under-furnished entryway, were all antiques, good, well-polished wood with brass fittings that matched the curving sweep of the banister. The floor was cherry wood, and when she glanced upward, trying to move her eyes without lifting her chin, she found herself looking at an elaborate chandelier, shaped like a blooming flower. "That was made by one of our alumni, actually," said a voice. Nancy wrenched her gaze from the chandelier and turned it toward the stairs. The woman who was descending was thin, as elderly women sometimes were, but her back was straight, and the hand resting on the banister seemed to be using it only as a guide, not as any form of support. Her hair was as white as Nancy's own, without the streaks of defiant black, and styled in a puffball of a perm like a dandelion that had gone to seed. She would have looked perfectly respectable, if not for her electric orange trousers, paired with a hand-knit sweater knit of rainbow wool and a necklace of semi-precious stones in a dozen colors, all of them clashing. Nancy felt her eyes widen despite her best efforts, and hated herself for it. She was losing hold of her stillness one day at a time. Soon she would be as jittery and unstable as any of the living, and then she would never find her way back home. "It's virtually all glass, of course, except for the bits that aren't," continued the woman, seemingly untroubled by Nancy's blatant staring. "I'm not at all sure how you make that sort of thing. Probably by melting sand, I assume. I contributed those large teardrop-shaped prisms at the center, however. All 12 of them were of my making. I'm rather proud of that." The woman paused, apparently expecting Nancy to say something. Nancy swallowed. Her throat was so dry these days, and nothing seemed to chase the dust away. "If you don't know how to make glass, how did you make the prisms?" she asked. The woman smiled. "Out of my tears, of course. Always assume the simplest answer is the true one here, because most of the time it will be. I'm Eleanor West. Welcome to my home. You must be Nancy." "Yes," Nancy said slowly. "How did you—" "Well, you're the only student we were expecting to receive today. There aren't as many of you as there once were. Either the doors are getting rarer, or you're all getting better about not coming back. Now be quiet a moment and let me look at you." Eleanor descended the last 3 steps and stopped in front of Nancy, studying her intently for a moment before she walked a slow circle around her. Tall, thin, and very pale. You must have been someplace with no